So, this is me telling the story of how Drew and I fell in love, since a couple people wanted me to do that. Um, we, first time we met was in high school, and I sat either behind him or in front of him. We argue about this all the time, it's like not even a big deal, but one or the other. I sat behind him or in front of him in my health class in, I think, 10th grade. And he used to pick on me all the fucking time. And I had the biggest fucking crush on him. Like, huge. I just realized my eyes go really big. Holy shit. Okay, anyway. So I sat behind him or in front of him. Not that it really matters, but according to Drew it matters. Because whatever I say, he says the opposite. If I would say behind, he would say in front. If I would say in front, he would say behind. And so on and so forth. But anyway. And I had this huge crush on him. I was like, oh my god, he's so cute, oh my god, I want to date him, blah, 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 blah. But I was dating somebody at the time, and I'm pretty sure it would have been illegal for him to date me at the time. I don't know, we are 4 years apart, so I think he would have been like 18 or something, and that would have just not been good. No. But anyway, now, obviously we never dated any of that crap because I was too young and anything, and we kind of just both moved on with our lives and went on about our days after he graduated, blah de blah de blah. Well then, I went to college. I went to Hack, right here in Lebanon. And I was at one of they have these little restaurants like all over the place around Hack. Little like family owned things that they all close at like 4 or 5 or 6. And there was a little sub shop near where I went to school. And so I went there the one day, and the one girl said that she was from, we talked for forever and ever and ever and ever, and she said that she was from Northern Lebanon, like she graduated from my school. So I wanted to go and find her. Well, the thing was, I forgot her name like as soon as I left the building. I forget a lot of things. I just forget a lot, alright? So there's this thing on Facebook where you can actually go and search for someone who graduated a certain year of your high school, and you can just search everybody who graduated that year, like everyone who graduated that year. Well, it just so happens that he graduated the same year as that girl, and so I'm going through and I'm looking for this girl because I couldn't remember her name, and I see his picture, and I'm like, I recognize him. Now, how the hell do I recognize him? I'm like, who is that? Why do I know his face? And so I go and I add him, because it's like, well, if I recognize him, there's gotta be some kind of story behind it. I add him, he starts like liking all of my statuses, everything I post he likes. And then he sends me, no, he posted on one of my statuses something about me being the girl that sat near him in his health class. I was like, holy shit, dude! That's him! That's that guy I had a gigantic crush on my sophomore year. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's him right there. That's why I recognized him. He's that really cute guy that I had a crush on my sophomore year. So I was like, oh man, I gotta get on this. So the thing was, we were kind of like both dating somebody at the time. I was like a serial dater. I was always dating someone. Like, trust me. I was like single for like most 2 months, and then I was dating somebody else. I don't know. It's why anybody would want to be with me is beyond me. I mean, I wouldn't want to be stuck with myself, but a lot of people wanted to be. But I was always dating someone. I was constantly in a relationship all the friggin' time. Well then, finally, like, whoever I was with broke up with me, or I broke up with them. I think I was dating a person that I didn't want to date in the first place at that time, but he kind of like guilted me into it and told me that I never gave him a chance. So I was like, okay, fine, oh my god. And so then it just didn't work out. It was just never really what I wanted to be in. And then I think I broke up with him, and then his girlfriend broke up with him. And it's like, oh, well, you know, we're both single and everything, you know, would you want to go on like a date or something? Would that be kind of cool? And so he took me out on a date, and he paid. The one thing I'll remember about our first date, he's the most memorable first date I've ever had, because he paid for the entire like $27 bill in quarters. Literally, quarters. I'm not even fucking kidding you. Quarters! Just entirely quarters. I'm pretty sure that waitress went home and killed herself. That's how awful she must have felt. Like, oh my god. So, we dated for a while, and I was like, I just came out of high school, so I was like really, really immature, and I'm okay, I'm perfectly alright with admitting that I was super, super immature. And so I was like always getting mad at him over stupid shit and all this other stuff and blah 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 blah. So I fucked it up. And we only did it like 3 months, and then we broke up. And then we spent like a year of doing nothing but blocking and re-blocking each other. Like, I would unblock him and he would block me, and then he would unblock me and I'd block him. Like, it was this ridiculous cycle. And like, then like a year later, I went through a whole bunch of shit while we were apart, and like, we didn't talk for a full year, not at all. And like, I always told everyone that that song, The One That Got Away, came out. I told everyone like it gave me feelings about Drew, because like, I always thought we could have been fucking amazing together, but I fucked it up because I was always so fucking emotional all the goddamn time because I was so immature. I was not ready for like an adult relationship when we first got into this relationship. And so I dated this guy named, I'm not even gonna get, let's just not go into names, but basically a lot of shit happened in between like the year that we didn't talk at all, and I went through a whole bunch of stuff, and I had to grow up really fast, and like, I had a miscarriage and stuff like that. I had to grow up really, really quick. And so I had his dog tag. I lost it in my room. It like fell off of something and into something else. And if you have ever actually like been to my house when I lived with my parents and like gone into my room, you would understand why I like it just went into the abyss of the massive piles of shit I have all over the room. And I'm just, it's amazing our apartment looks the way it does, because I don't even know, like, my room was like a terror. But anyway, my hair's like super frizzy, holy shit. Off topic. Alright, anyway. So I'm like going through my stuff because I'm getting ready to move out, because I was ready to move out, and so I'm going through my shit, and I find his dog tag, and I was like, oh shit, he probably wants that back. And so I went onto Facebook, and at this time, neither one of us had each other blocked by some fucking, I don't know, by some miracle. We don't have either of each other blocked. So, blah, 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 blah. I can't speak English. And so, I sent him a message, and I'm like, hey, I found your dog tag, would you like it back? And he's like, I was like, do you have an address for me to send it to, or what? And he's like, oh, I'll just come pick it up. And I'm like, oh shit, what if I don't want you to pick it up? Because I don't want to see you, and then I'm gonna want to be with you, and then it's just gonna be awful. And it's like, and we went off on a really bad foot. I don't know if I'm okay with seeing you right now. I'm not, I don't. So, anyway, that night he comes over and he gets his dog tag. Well, we sit in his car for like 4 hours talking nonstop. This is like midnight, so we're just talking and blah 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 blah. And then I had his phone number then, so I started making excuses to come and see him. Like, my friend backed out on me for like a Hershey Bear game. I was like, oh, you want to go to a Hershey Bear game? Because I have these tickets and you should come along. And he's like, yeah. And so we started really seeing a lot of each other. And the one night I was texting him, and I was telling him, it was like, because we started going and seeing movies and shit like that. We were hanging out a lot, and I sent him a text, and I was like, I told him that he should stop hanging out with me, because if he doesn't stop hanging out with me, he's gonna fall in love with me again, and then this time he's gonna have to marry me. And he was like, oh god, that sounds like the worst thing to ever happen to anybody. And I was like, I know. And I was like, and I'm pretty sure that if you had wanted to be with me, you probably would have asked me already to be your girlfriend again. And he was like, well, maybe we should go to dinner tonight and talk about that. So he takes me to dinner that night, and he asked me to be his girlfriend again. And then last December, he asked me to marry him. So yeah, and that's how we fell in love. Drew and I just work. Like, We're probably the most dysfunctional couple on the face of the planet. Like, it's just, we're the same exact person on so many levels. Like, we're both extremely stubborn. We're both like, we're both, we both have to get the last word in for everything. Um, we're both really, really sarcastic assholes, and he won't be afraid to admit it either. And like, being a sarcastic asshole is kind of like one of my favorite things to do. So, it's just like, we just work, and I can't even explain how we work, we just kind of do. And I've never been closer to anybody on a like intimate emotional level than I am with Drew. He's literally my best friend, and I couldn't imagine spending my life with anybody else. And it's just kind of funny that I was telling somebody a few days before we got back together that I would have given anything to not have fucked up with Drew, to not have completely messed it up with the one person I thought I could actually spend the rest of my life with. Because no one gets me like Drew does, and no one gets Drew like I do. We just get each other, we just understand each other, and because we're so sarcastic, a lot of the people we dated had problems with that and couldn't understand when we were being serious or whatever. So, we just get each other because we're both that way. Even though they say opposites attract, and you should probably not date somebody who's like the same person you are, like, there are things about me and Drew that differ. Like, he's not as outgoing as I am. Like, I can pretty much make friends with like the first person I see, but he is pretty, he's, if he hasn't known you for like his entire life, he has a hard time becoming close with you. He's only close with a few people. So, but I just love him. And I can't explain to you how we work or why we work. We just do. And I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life with anybody but Drew. So, that's how it happened. I don't have anything else to say. But that's the story of how we fell in love. Alrighty then.